98FM. The sound of the city.
98FM's Dublin Talks. Weekdays from 10 a.m.
With Adrian Kennedy.
I'm Adrian Kennedy, and that man there is our show producer, Jeremy Dixon.
Now, you may not be aware of this, ladies and gentlemen, but tomorrow, excuse me, is the first day of summer.
Is it?
Yeah. Where did that happen? How did that happen? I mean, only a couple of weeks ago we were digging ourselves out of the snow.
Is it the first day of summer, though?
Yeah, we're not having this argument. It is. There's no argument.
No, I thought June, July and August was the summer.
No, tomorrow is the first day of summer. And the reason I'm mentioning it is because last night, I was out late last night, Adrian, doing some jiggery pokery.
Yeah, okay.
Doing a bit of slap and tickle. How's your father? Don't want to talk about it.
Right. Why are you even saying it then?
And in my car, now remember, this is like just about the start of summer, and in my car starts beeping last night to tell me that the roads are frosty. You know the way your car has a warning to tell you?
Yes, it does, yeah.
What the hell? What's wrong with the country?
It was cold last night, yeah, it has to be said. So tomorrow's the first day of summer?
Yes, it is. And for those of you who, like myself, are hay fever sufferers, it's an awful time of year. Adrian, this completely bypasses you because you're not a hay fever sufferer.
Thankfully, I have seen people like yourself.
Oh my God! I mean,
suffer quite severely. Yeah.
It's actually debilitating to have hay fever. So for those of you who are in the same boat as me, I feel sorry for you because we are well and truly in hay fever weather, and there's only one person you can blame for it: the bastard bees.
The bees?
The bees are to blame.
Why are the bees to blame?
Bees are to blame for hay fever.
How?
Because they... Or are they not to blame?
No, pollen comes up in the air. It's nothing to do with bees.
I've been blaming bees for years.
No, pollen comes up off the grass. It comes up off everything.
I think it's bees.
It's nothing to do with the bees. Anyway, did you know that from tomorrow onwards, you will pay an extra... If you buy a 2-litre bottle of Coke, for example...
Which I do.
Which you do.
Yep.
Or a 2-litre bottle of Club Orange. You are going to be paying an extra 60 cent for a 2-litre bottle of sugary drinks because the budget of 2018 saw the announcement of a sugar tax, which was due to start on the 6th of April but was pushed back until tomorrow, the 1st of May. The official name for the new tax in Ireland is Sugar Sweetened Drinks Tax, SSDT. I'm going to try and find out a little bit more about this. Colm Jordan is the director of the Irish Beverage Council. Colm, welcome to 98FM.
Thank you.
You're not overly happy about the introduction of this tax?
Well, look, we welcome anything that's going to help Ireland make a bit healthier, but we know from all the independent studies that governments around the world have carried out that this isn't going to do that. It just makes things more expensive for people.
Now, I was mentioning the tax itself will put 30 cent on a litre of sugary drink. So I gave examples of, Coca-Cola, the original Coca-Cola, things like Club Orange. But an awful lot of drinks are sugar-free now, so they won't be affected at all, will they?
76%, so 2/3 of the drinks that are on sale now at the moment won't be impacted by this tax at all. And that's because, the first non-sugar, no-sugar drinks were introduced in 1983. So we've been at this for a long, long time, and certainly we were screaming from the rooftops when people were thinking about this. We said, look, sugary drinks are only about 3% of our calorific intake. They're not part of the problem. And in fact, the consumption of sugary drinks has gone down, and it's been going down for years, yet obesity has been increasing. So there isn't a correlation between the two, but unfortunately, this is a popular thing. It's here now. We helped to implement it. When people came knocking on our door, we said, look, this is the law of the land. And we took them in, we showed them around the factory, we talked to them about the processes, and we worked our best to make sure that this was as easy as possible for consumers.
Okay, so like I said, 30 cent on a litre of sugary drink. The idea, well, in theory, is to start dealing with Ireland's obesity problem, make those sugary drinks more expensive for the consumer and reduce their consumption of it.
But sorry, Agent, for cutting across you. That hasn't worked. If you take this argument, and move it on to cigarettes, it does not work. The government have been putting up the price of cigarettes over the years, astronomical amounts, haven't they? You know, you're a smoker. Compared to 15 years ago, the price of a packet of 20 is a lot more than
and
it
people
was.
still smoke.
And
Yeah, no,
people
I get that. But if you walk
like
into a shop and there's a bottle of Coca-Cola for, we'll just say for argument's sake, $2.60.
Yeah.
And there's a bottle of what's the
Coke Zero.
Coke Zero for €2, 60 cent in the difference. You're much more likely to go for the cheaper one.
No, but hang on, take me for instance as a sugary drinks drinker. Okay, I'm not obese. Okay, I look after myself. I'm in quite good shape, but I like a sugary drink. Am I to be punished because of that?
Well, Colin, you don't believe that this is going to help in any way to deal with our obesity problem?
Well, I suppose people would say, industry would say that, wouldn't they? So what I do is I go to the independent reports that Departments of Health Commission. Mm-hmm. So the New Zealand Department of Health found that there was no evidence of actually any working tax that had impacted on health. And the Irish government commissioned a health impact assessment from the Institute of Public Health, and it said there is no conclusive evidence that a specific tax on sugar-sweetened drinks will impact on population weight. So, sometimes you can look at the health advocates and you can look at industry and they disagree and they squabble. But on this one, governments, departments of health in 2 different countries went away and looked at all of the evidence and said the evidence doesn't stack up. And in your own mind, think about it. When people go out and buy a drink, they're not doing it because they're price conscious. Because if they were, well then say Yellow Packer own brand lemonade would be the number 1 bestseller or market leaders, but they're not. So people are making their decisions based on taste. So we know that this isn't something that's going to work. Independent studies have told us, but we went ahead anyway.
Okay, so it's happening tomorrow whether we like it or not. Colin Jordan, Director of the Irish Beverage Council, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
You see, here's my argument with the whole thing, and I'm sure Colin would agree with this completely. 20 years ago, diet drinks were pretty few and far between. You had Diet Coke, and I think that was the only diet drink that you had. So the majority of soft drinks when I was growing up, when I was a teenager, were laced with sugar, yeah? There was nobody fat walking around then. This is not to do with sugary drinks. Would you not agree?
Yes and no. The argument being, and I've already given that example, if you see a 2-litre bottle of Coca-Cola, regular Coca-Cola for $2.60 or Coke Zero for €2, you're going to go for the €2 one.
No, not if you don't like the taste of them. Okay, Adrian, has the price of cigarettes stopped you from smoking your brand of cigarettes?
No.
Okay, you have a particular brand of cigarettes that you smoke, correct?
Correct.
And you don't deviate from that brand?
Correct.
Okay, if you were in a shop and you saw another pack of cigarettes for half the price, would you buy them?
Yeah, not necessarily.
Why?
No.
Because you don't like the taste of them?
Yeah. Eddie, you're on 98FM. How are you, Eddie?
Not too bad.
Eddie, what do you think of this sugar tax?
That guy that was just on there spoke a lot of sense. And actually so did Jeremy for a change.
That's nice to hear.
People won't take any heed of it.
No.
An extra 10 cent, I think, per can of 330 ml.
Yeah.
30 cent per litre. They'll just keep buying it, Or else, if they don't buy that one, they'll just buy a cheaper products with sugar in it, And I think it's up to the schools and parents at home to teach it. You know what I mean?
But, okay, you don't believe that this is going to help in any way to deal with our obesity problem, to make it more expensive for people to drink sugar-laden drinks?
I'm no doctor, but if that guy can back up his facts and say there's no correlation between it, and like Jeremy was saying there, like everyone for 30, 40 years has been drinking sugary products, and if that guy was saying only 3% linked or something like that, but no, I think it's up to the parents. Like, no, I cringe when I see a 5-year-old and he's drinking a bottle of Coke, sugary, Yep. I just think it's up to the parents and more education in school, because people will just still buy it. They're saying it's going to make about 40 million a year, but some other people are saying it's just a tax scam again. But
so why do you think, Eddie? Why do you think? Because I'm just thinking back to my childhood, okay, and I wasn't allowed that much sugar when I was a kid. But I remember during the summertime, and I'm sure you do as well, Adrian and Eddie, looking back on them, those vile things, what were they that you put them in the freezer? They were long plastic and you put them in the freezer and you sucked them.
Oh, Cool Pops.
Cool Pops, is that what do you remember Cool Pops, Eddie?
Yeah.
You can still get them.
I don't think you've
never.
You
of course you can. You still get a Cool Pop.
I haven't seen a kid with a Cool Pop in years.
Yeah, they sell them in all the supermarkets.
Anyway, the point is, those Cool Pops, I would imagine, remember the blue ones, the manky blue ones? I'd say they were laced with sugar.
Yeah.
But you didn't have fat kids in the 80s.
Yeah, well, do you know what else? Do you know what is the big part of the problem now? It's computer games and people lying on their arse all day when you come home from school. Kids just not getting any exercise. When was the last time you seen a kid climb a tree? You know what I mean? It doesn't happen.
Yeah, you just don't see it.
But you're not going to lose weight now playing Conkers, Eddie.
No, but you know what I'm saying? Like, people outdoors doing activities. Now they're just sitting around and they're all talking to their mates with their headsets on, playing FIFA or whatever, you know, for 5 hours a night after school. That is probably a bigger problem than the sugary thing. But I can see the government... I can see their point as well, because we're on course to become the most obese nation in Europe in 10 years.
And we have to do something.
Yeah. So
I read something...
You can't turn a blind eye. Now, I know the government are doing something, but the public won't follow it.
I read something somewhere, Eddie, and this backs up your claims there. I read something somewhere online. Now, I don't know how true this is, but if it is true, it's shocking. And it said that only 1/5, listen to this, only 1/5 of 15-year-olds, own a bike.
Really?
A bicycle.
Oh, that shocks me now.
Well, I kind of have a bit of a vested interest. I mean, because I lost my brother there a year and a half ago. He was only 43, and he was a diabetic, and it got the better of him, and it set off other medical conditions. So I could kind of see the government side of it as well, but I think it's up to the individual, and it's up to the parents, and it's up to the schools to get them at an early age and to drum it into their head.
I mean, well, the schools can't do anything more. I mean, schools are like
their responsibility.
Schools are food Nazis now. They check lunch boxes to make sure you can't even bring in a packet of crisps into school anymore.
That's unfortunately they have to do it because a lot of parents out there
weren't being responsible.
Don't bother, so you know.
All right, Eddie, thanks very much indeed. Doesn't think it's going to make any difference whatsoever that we will have to pay 30 cent a litre more for sugary drinks from tomorrow. Education my ass, says this person. It has nothing to do with education. People know smoking and drinking is bad. They still partake.
It's kind of different in that you're addicted. Adrian's addicted to nicotine. Is that what's in the cigarette that makes?
What about it?
No, I'm saying is that what's in it?
Yes.
Sugary drinks. But now maybe I'm wrong. I don't think you can be addicted to sugary drinks. They don't have the same addictive qualities as cigarettes do they?
Although I do know people who would drink gallon loads.
That's different. There's a difference between... Like, have you ever met anybody who's addicted to Coca-Cola or Club Orange?
Well, when I met you first, you used to be.
Not addicted.
You used to drink it by the gallon.
Here, I wasn't going out robbing grannies to feed my Club Orange habit. What I'm talking about is an actual... Is there one person listening to the show right now, okay? And I'm not talking about someone who drinks 2 cans a day. I'm talking about... I would love to know if there's even one person in Ireland who is addicted to sugary drinks. Now, by addicted, Adrian, I mean in the same way a drug addict is addicted to heroin or you're addicted to nicotine. That's actually addicted to sugary drinks, because I don't think that's an addiction, is it?
It is if you can't stop drinking it. Yeah.
Can you be addicted to sugar? Well, how come we've never met a Coca-Cola addict? Or a Club Orange addict.
If you are that person, I'd love to hear from you on 6797 981. Roisin, you're delighted with this sugar tax. Why?
I'm delighted with it. That my 3 nephews have been drinking it since they've been able to hold a bottle.
Have been drinking what? Sugary Coca-Cola?
Yeah. That my 3-year-old nephew, do you know the little cans of Coke that you can buy?
Yes, the little small ones.
His man buys them especially for the 3-year-old.
Oh, for a 3-year-old. Now, these are the cans you get on the flights, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
A 3-year-old drink... Oh,
I'm not surprised with her because she drank them while she was pregnant on her 3 kids. The kids would be kicking the belly off her and she'd think, oh, look at them, isn't it so cute? But it's when they come to my house and they expect Coke, and I'm like, no, not on my watch. Thanks very much.
Okay, so do you think that this sugar tax might make her rethink, or might make her people like her, or will she still buy it?
She won't even flinch. Oh, she'll still buy it. She won't even flinch.
And how did the kid? No, I don't know. How does a? I would imagine if a 3-year-old, what's the mils in one of those little cans, Adrian? That's it.
60 maybe.
180.
180. Something like
that. Say how would that affect a 3-year-old drinking a 200ml can of Coke? I'd imagine they'd be swinging out of the lampshades, would they?
With them, it doesn't, I know some kids go hyper on the sugar. They wouldn't really, because their systems are used to it.
Yeah, they're almost immune to it at this stage.
Yeah,
so do you think that this sugar tax will make a difference in dealing with obesity and making people change their behaviour of buying sugary drinks?
Some people, it will depend on how you've been brought up, but you see teenagers with these sugar drinks in their hand, they're going to buy them, or if they haven't got the money, it may make them think, but I don't think it will with a lot of people.
And have you spoken to? Sorry, is it your sister or who is it?
My sister-in-law.
Your sister-in-law. You won't be happy with you after this little.
She's in Wexford, so she doesn't
we can say what we want then. No, but have you spoken to her? I have to say, if some relation of mine was given their 3-year-old Coke, I wouldn't be able to keep my mouth shut.
She's one of these where if you said something, she'd just cry.
No, right. So there's no point.
So yeah, my husband, he only has one sister, and if you say anything bad to her, like anything, she'll just cry.
Does your husband know that you don't like his sister?
Oh God, yes.
Oh really?
Very much so.
No, we don't.
It's with a pinch of salt.
We won't delve any further into that relationship. Roisin,
that's another.
Was she at the wedding?
She was.
Oh, how'd you feel about that?
I just kept away from her.
Was she at the top? Was she at the top table?
You're very nosy. Don't be exploiting this relationship.
I'm just saying.
She's a good heart, but I just have to, with things like that, I just have to bite my tongue.
Right.
Tomorrow.
Good luck. Thanks, Roisin.
Bye.
Orla, you also don't think this sugar tax is a good idea?
No, I don't. I don't think it makes enough difference. To me, I think the endless problem is the constant ice cream bars, donut shops. Every shopping centre you go into, there's stand-free cupcakes. And with I have 3 kids myself, and everywhere we go, it's just constant. You go into a coffee shop, and it's muffins and lemon cakes everywhere you go. And I think when I look back, we'd none of that crap when we were in school. You came home from school, you had toast and a cup of tea, and that was it until dinner. Now it's like, when they're off school, you go in at 11 o'clock, you buy them something, you go past at 4 o'clock, you get something else. I really believe that that's what it is. I don't think it's the drinks, because they were all there when we were there.
Yeah, I mean...
You're actually right. And this new sugar tax only applies to fizzy drinks.
Yeah. And do you remember those other fizzy drinks that were out when we were a kid, Order? They were in was a Cadet.
Oh,
I was just going to say Cadet.
Remember Cadet? They were in the small little bottles. The small little bottles. There was Cadet. And then when you think about it, the other thing that you used to dip the lollipop into
oh my God, they were my favourite as well.
What were they called?
Sherbet
tip.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
The yellow and the red lollipop.
And that was just pure sugar.
I can't remember the name of them, but looking back on, if someone can remember the name of those.
Sherbet dips.
You've
just been told.
Dib dabs.
Yeah.
I would imagine that a bag of Dib Dab with a lollipop, that must have been...
pure sugar.
Pure sugar.
Yeah, it was,
Pure sugar. But it was the only treat you saw, and that was like on a Saturday when you got your pocket money. That was about it.
And, of course, then the other thing, which you can't get for love nor money anymore, candy floss.
Oh, God, yeah. Well, you can get it Dundrum in the movies.
Yeah, you can.
Sorry, hang on, stop the music.
No,
stop.
Dundrum, the movies.
What?
Yeah. In bags.
Yeah.
You can get candy floss in movies at Dundrum?
Yeah, in little roundy tubs.
Adrian, why didn't you tell me about this when I go to that cinema?
You're hearing about it now. Thank you, Orla.
Yeah, no problem at all.
And one last call. We were talking about whether or not you can be addicted, or are there any addicts of sweet drinks like Coca-Cola or whatever?
In other words, can you be as addicted to a sweet drink as a smoker is to nicotine?
Gavin.
How you doing? How are you, lads?
You worked with someone who was addicted to Coke.
Yeah,
Coca-Cola, sorry, just to clarify that.
Yeah. Now, I obviously work in pubs and hotels, and there was one hotel I worked in, and there was a chef. You'd always see him walking around with a bottle of Coke. And I was chatting to him one day, and I said, "Jay, you must fucking, how much would you drink of it?" And he said, "Oh, non-stop." He said he actually hated the taste of Coke, but because he was doing such long hours, he loved the little kick it gave him. It gave him like a little kick, like it was. So he said, can't stand the taste of it. He said, I can't stop drinking. He said, it's the first thing I would do. If I feel like some people go for a coffee or some people go for whatever. He said, mine is just Coke. He said, that's my little addiction. I can't. And you'd always see him, always with a bottle of Coke in his hand. And
did he actually admit that he was addicted to it?
Oh, he said it himself. He said, I can't stand the taste of it. He said, and I said, it's even worse now when you get the taste that goes flat. He said, that's when you get the real taste. He said, I throw it out then. He said, it's just a little kick I get half when I drink the Coke.
Right, so that had him strung out on it. Thanks, Gav.
Strung out there. Relax there, Adrian. Strung out. Okay. Strung out.
Great topic. I sadly am addicted to Coca-Cola. The increase won't make a difference to me. I can drink up to anything you put in front of me. Bottles, cans. My son is delighted the price is going up as he hates me drinking fizzy drinks. He's 25 and hasn't drank a fizzy drink ever in his life. During pregnancy, I drank it too. Gave up drinking it for 3 years on my wedding day. Had a Coke to celebrate, and 18 years later I'm still addicted to it. So.
And here's a message from Elaine. Adrian, maybe you'll remember this. Guys, do you remember when we were kids the wristwatches made from sweets? They were lethal.
Wristwatches made from sweets?
Wristwatches made from sweets. Now, I have to be honest with you, I grew up about 20 years after Adrian did.
Really? You're only 7 years younger than me.
Don't ever say that in public. I do not, for the life of me, remember a wristwatch made of sweets. How is that even possible?
I assume it wasn't an actual watch.
What? So hang on. You buy the watch in the shop, it tells the time, and when you're finished with it,
you just ease it.
Elaine, or if anybody else knows of this watch, was it a Swatch watch or something?
You don't eat Swatch watches.
If it's edible.
It must have been a jelly thing or something like that.
No, okay. If anybody knows that of a wristwatch that after it told the time you could actually eat it. That sounds weird, doesn't it?
It does a little bit.
What time is it, son? 3 o'clock. Hang on a sec.
98FM. The sound of the city.
98FM's Dublin Talks. Weekdays from 10 a.m.
With Adrian.